There's been a lot of discussion the last few days since the horrific tragedy in Arizona on civil discourse. And I think this is an important conversation to have because we're beginning to see that in order to have civil discourse, we are dependent on one another. Now, this may seem obvious to you, but oftentimes what can happen is that we don't think that we're interdependent. We think that the truth resides within me or within my group. And so since we hold the truth, we can then exclude somebody else who thinks about the truth differently, who disagrees with us. We can exclude that person from the conversation. So you see this today often with people who want to exclude Sarah Palin from the conversation. So you'll see the argument that Sarah Palin doesn't deserve to be in the conversation, that she doesn't have the political experience to be in the conversation, and thus she should be excluded. And Sarah Palin, along with people who support her, will want to assert and defend herself naturally. This is what humans do. And react and say, I deserve to be here. You don't deserve to be here. You should be excluded. This is the ways in which civil discourse can be uncivil, and when we think that we possess the truth. Civil discourse means that we don't think that the truth is possessed or owned by me or my group. The truth resides somewhere in the middle, somewhere between us. That's where we find the truth. Civil discourse happens when we believe that the other's intentions are as good as ours, that the other is out for the good of the community. So the question comes, what do we do when we feel like somebody has used inflammatory language or rude language against us? How do we respond without getting caught up in inflammatory and rude accusations with one another? I think it's important that we take the other person at their word. Not that we say, oh, get over it, it's not that bad, you're misinterpreting what I said, but that we actually come together and say, okay, I may have used inflammatory language, and I'm sorry. Let's move together and find ways in which we can discuss with one another in ways that lead to positive relationship. So it takes the courage to say, I'm sorry. It takes the courage to see that the truth is somewhere in the middle, that we don't possess it, and to come together and try to find middle ground, because that's where the truth resides. So those are my thoughts on civil discourse, and I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks.